We are back with day who knows what. I haven't even been counting. I don't know why I said day. But we are going to hop into this video today. We are going to be talking about a few interesting ideas and just kind of see where it leads us. Honestly, no clue. Whatever comes out of my rambling mouth today comes out. So let's get into that. My question for today is, why does everything only make sense after we go through whatever it is that we're going through, or whatever it is that happens? And I have been very much wondering this myself the last little while, especially with different circumstances that come up and meeting new people and just a lot of different new situations and things happening. And it's, like I said, it's new and it's so fun, and it's just all kind of lining up how it needs to line up, and I am so excited about that. However, it just makes me wonder why that is. Like, why is it that we only really start to see and understand that everything is actually making sense? It's just kind of working out in its own way and own timing, and it shows itself when it's ready to show itself, and when you're ready too, I think, is one of the most important things with that as well. I don't know. It's very strange, right? Because when we are in the moment of whatever it is that's happening, say like making new friends or something like that, like take the server SMP that I'm on, for example. This server has literally been so fun and has literally changed my life, especially how I see the online community and meeting new people and making new friends online and things like that. It just really, really changed the way that I look at things, and how, like I keep saying, we literally just sometimes have to live a little bit and live through whatever it is in order to actually see the real reason of why whatever it is happening, whether that's good or bad too. Like, I have used the example of the SMP, and this is a great example of making new friends and becoming a part of this amazing community and becoming a part of this amazing new Scrimp family, which makes more context if you want to go watch the SMP videos. However, that said, I do want to know your guys' thoughts. So if you are comfortable sharing, please let me know what your thoughts are on this idea, on this question of why does everything make sense only after we go through it, and only after we are able to step back a little bit and kind of assess it, I guess you could say, from a greater perspective and from a little bit of an outside perspective as well. To dive a little bit deeper into this, and sticking along the example of the SMP stuff, when I started trying to make this very first SMP video, I was so terrified. Like, in the moment, I had no idea what I was doing, and just overthinking literally everything. Like, how am I going to do this? What kind of tech do I need? Am I going to have to upgrade all my stuff in order to do this? Am I going to need a mic? Am I going to need like all of these different things? And then on top of that, how am I going to interact with all of these people? And like, I don't even know how to explain all of the different thoughts that were going on in my head, right? But it's just all of these what if questions that were consuming my brain at the time, especially during the first few episodes of the Scrimpy Craft SMP season 2. But the thing is that now I am currently working on getting, oh, there's a cave, getting episode 7. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. Episode 7 recorded and done. And with the progression of that, I have been looking back recently, all the way back to those first episodes and the opening day, the launch day of the server. And it just makes me reminisce a little bit, because even though it has been a short time, I have learned so much, and I've just grown so much. And I think that it's an important thing to reflect back on in different parts of our lives. Like, even if we were just looking back, say like a month ago, like, what in your life has changed this month that wasn't in your life last month? And how have you changed? How have you grown? How have you, like, is there anything that has kind of popped up for you? Is there anyone that has shown up in your life that's new? Or maybe an old friend showed up in your life. I don't know. I could go on forever explaining examples of this, but for you, what is it? And then from there, we can kind of take it and look back and be like, oh, that's why that happened. Like, we met these people at this time for this reason, and they showed up at the exact perfect time. And now the way that you think about different things is completely changed for the better. And maybe even if it's the example of people coming into your life at the perfect time, maybe it's like they came into your life at the perfect time and saved you from spiraling out of control, and they didn't even know it. And I don't know, it's just all of these crazy crazy things that we can look back on and think, oh my gosh, even a month ago and even a year ago, I was in a completely different position and I didn't have this and I didn't have that, and I was thinking that my life was going to be this. Or again, I could go on and on with different examples, but I want you guys to go find your own. I want you to think about your life and think about all of the things that you have done and all of the experiences that you have lived, and kind of piece it together for yourself, because I think that's also the most important thing, is that you figure it out for yourself. All of that said, I also want to add on the fact that even if it doesn't feel like there's something right now, that is completely okay. Like, sometimes there are slow months, sometimes there are slow half a years, and maybe slow entire years, but eventually you are able to look back on different things in your life and just be grateful for them. You know, you just look at them and you smile, and when you just have a thought about whatever it is, you just can't help but smile, and you can't help but just laugh a little bit and just think, man, if one thing didn't happen, if one thing didn't line up, then we could not be in this position that we're in, and maybe I couldn't have experienced this thing that I have experienced. Craziness. Absolute craziness. Oh, that's another thing that I kept thinking about. So, after I started thinking a little bit more about this, I was also trying to figure out, why do we try to figure out different things earlier than maybe they're supposed to be figured out? And I kept on pondering a little bit about this, because if we're talking about timing, right, and everything is happening for a reason, and everything is kind of showing itself as it needs to, at the time it needs to, the time that you're ready to hear it, all that jazz, right? Then why on earth are we trying to force figuring out it? Like, why? Why is this a thing? Why do our brains get stuck in this? And this one, I don't necessarily have an answer for, to be completely honest. However, I am completely open to suggestions and would absolutely love to hear all of your thoughts in the comments. Just remember, keep them nice, keep them positive. This is supposed to be a nice, open, safe space, and just to talk a little bit about this kind of stuff, of whatever we're talking about in each day's video. But after putting together little bits and pieces, and maybe even starting to see that greater perspective that I talked about earlier, I do think that it is worth noting that once all of that is kind of given a chance, I guess, to shine through, given a chance to be able to see by you, is that English? I don't know if that's English. Then once all of that is good, and once the frustration has passed of maybe not being able to for a little while, then I think that our brains kind of start to connect the dots a little bit, and we start to realize, like I also mentioned earlier, oh my gosh, this happened because ... and so on and so forth. Anyways, there is one more idea that kind of came up while I was thinking about this, and that is the idea of, like, trusting and understanding the power of timing, I guess. And no matter what you believe in, I do think that everything does kind of have to happen for a reason, whether that's good or bad or learning experience or whatever it is. I feel like there's something that you can always take from it, and there's something, I guess there's always an opportunity, is what I'm trying to say. There's always an opportunity for something to be learned from whatever that experience was or is, or I think you get what I'm trying to say, hopefully. But yeah, trust, understanding, just kind of giving reassurance to ourselves that everything is going to be okay, and everything is going to be okay in the end, and if it's not okay, then it's not the end, so don't worry. You still have life to live, you're still living, and it's worth at least trying. On top of that, this can lead into a bunch of different spiraling thoughts, right? But the next thing that the spiraling thought kind of led me to is the illusion of the control. And I've done a video on this already, so if you're interested, go back and watch that. It's probably listed here or just attached into the description, if I remember. But the idea of needing to have a full-on plan of exactly what you're doing, most of the time, it's not really the case. You don't necessarily need to have every single thing to the T figured out. And that's okay. It's a good thing, I promise. A little spontaneity is good sometimes. And it keeps us on our feet, and it keeps us living life and excitement, and it keeps new experiences, keeps us open to new experiences, I should say. And I think that's a good thing. I think that even if it's hard to live sometimes, because it definitely is hard to live that sometimes, but I think that if we do live that, then this whole idea of why does everything only make sense after it happens, I think that idea starts to become okay, and we start to realize that it is okay. We don't need to force anything. We don't need to push ourselves to come up with an outcome right away. That's not, like, I don't know, sometimes it's just not how things work, and sometimes they work out for the better and sometimes they don't. And again, it's okay. If you've made it to the end of this video, it means you enjoyed it, or at least enjoyed it enough to stay to the end of this video. So if you would consider liking and subscribing and clicking this video here to keep on watching, I'm positive you will love it and it'll change your life. See y'all there. Bye everyone!